Welcome to the stream. Bit of an addendum to today's live feed update. That was pretty short. Pretty short one. But now we are here to discuss some other things. Thank you for all the subscriptions. Good, welcome. There was a live feed update today. Kellis made a cameo. Had a cameo. Looks like Twitch is adding bits. We added 40 and 20 bits. It must be like a promotion. Cat meow. There have been some very short live feed updates, I'll tell you that. Kellis starred in the live feed update. For a moment, I was like, oh man, we should have waited until noon like we normally would on a Friday. But that wouldn't have worked either. We would have ended it just before the feeds came back. What do you think of the 16th? Jen, thank you. But boy. Yeah, if you invested in Angela or Leah, you might be in for it. But honestly, who knows? This could do anything to the stock watch. I'll tell you guys right now, I went over the stock watch yesterday on the stream and then forgot to do anything. No, the only thing I remembered to do was sell my Leah. So I was literally like, I definitely need to do something. And then I forgot to do anything. So I could have not sold my Leah and I would have been in a much better spot. If I'd just completely forgotten. I half forgot. Here's the thing. I do think that this is potentially good for players like Cam, MJ, Chemo, Rubina. Because if Leah goes through with her plan and shakes up the game by putting Chelsea and T-Core on the block, everyone goes up. Like everyone's in a better spot. But it requires that shot landing. Basically, like if the stock watch is Chelsea and T-Core in the green and everyone else in the red, what this will likely do is pull them back down and everyone else back up and level the playing field again. But anyway, this is what we're talking about. Feeds came back finally. And Leah has won. She mentioned it was some kind of athletic competition. Don't know what kind of athletic competition. But she has won it. It seems like they slept outside, which is why the feeds were down. Which, again, just like, if this was a planned thing, just say so, you know? Like, just let us know. Sunflower, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. Yeah, it seems like the whole thing is like a themed situation. No one, thank you for the 5th. But okay, so let's just run through some possibilities, some outcomes here. Leah said before Quinn was evicted, before any conversations about saving Quinn, that she would want to put T-Core and Chelsea on the block. That could change. That could change because of various things. One being that she had a good conversation with Chelsea. Maybe she doesn't want to target Chelsea as much anymore. Except Chelsea, MJ, and Cam seemingly blindsided her at the vote. The bee's knees. Welcome to the Robot Army. Jesse, thank you for the 14th in a row, 18 total, and it is. Thank you for the 12th. So with this blind side, you could see her throwing up like Cam or MJ for participating in a blindside against her, because why would they do that? Especially if T-Core tries to get into her head about like, hey, they're just as much of a trio as we are, except they're more athletic. Andrew, thank you for the 6th. I think it's very tempting. Giraffe, thank you for the 3 months in advance. I appreciate that confidence. It's very tempting when you have when you're in Leah's position, there are two opposing sides, neither of which you're a part of. It can be very tempting to choose to target one of the sides. And Wiley, thank you for the 26th. Because then you're not pissing off one of the trios. So you might think, for instance, I'll just put up Chelsea and Cam, leave T-Core, Chemo, Rubina alone, keep them happy with me. Then I go into next week with just 2 people mad at me. That there's something tempting there, right? The problem with that strategy is you're giving the other trio an out. Heading into next week, yes, there's only 2 people mad at you, but those 2 people who are mad at you are talking to the trio that you kept off the block and wanting to align with them. And now that trio that you kept off the block has all the power. They can choose to keep going with you, or they can choose to go with the people that you just took a shot at. It's very dangerous. You're giving that trio a position of power over the votes for that trio. So let's say, for instance, that Chelsea and Cam are on the block together. T-Core, Rubina, Chemo control that vote. So now, whoever that trio keeps, they owe that trio one. So if that trio votes out Cam, keeps Chelsea, Chelsea now owes T-Core, Rubina, Chemo for keeping her, for saving her. And so there's a lot of good connective tissue there. And that's a more recent favor than you keeping them off the block. So there's a lot more play, and you're giving them a lot more power. So I think typically, and not always, but typically the better play here is put one from each on the block. Now the 2 trios, whether they like it or not, must fight amongst themselves. They must fight each other. And yes, theoretically, you're pissing off both sides. But what you can do is say, hey, T-Core, you're a pawn to get out Chelsea. I'm sorry. They're not going to like it, but they're going to spend all week long campaigning for your vote. My friend Katie, thank you for the 35th in a row. The nomination takes place on Friday. The eviction takes place the following Thursday. The thing that's more present in people's minds always is the vote that happened, not the nominations that happened. Nominations, they will piss people off. Don't get me wrong. But if you put up T-Core and Chelsea as an example, there's 5 votes. MJ and Cam vote to keep Chelsea. Chemo and Rubina vote to keep T-Core. Angela is the deciding vote. If you are in a pair with Angela, if she is on your side, then both sides are campaigning to you all week long to choose their side over the other one. You spend 1 day nominating both sides, pissing both sides off, and then you spend the entire rest of the week bonding with one of those sides, promising them protection, and then following through on it and voting to keep that side. And now you have all the momentum of building that group, building that connection, and keeping the other 2 remaining players as the biggest targets in the house. You do not cede power to one of the sides. That is the way to do it most of the time. But it's a little bit scarier up front. That's why a lot of people, they don't go that path. They get scared. Again, they say, I'm just going to take a shot at one of the trios, one of the sides, and avoid taking a shot at the other side entirely. Because then the other side will trust me more, right? That's kind of what Quinn did to some degree. Quinn decided oh, I don't want to shoot into the MJ Cam Chelsea side at all. So I'm going to put up one of the trio or 2 of the trio and leave everyone else off the block. They'll be grateful that I protected them. They weren't. And then he got so scared that he even backed off of going after the rest of the trio and nominated one of his own side to prevent people from being mad at him. And they were not grateful for that either. You have to play bold as the HOH and then follow it up with good damage control. When do you think of the 58th? So, the exciting thing is that, we're going to wait and see what kinds of conversations we're going to get here. Right now they're all still stuck out in the backyard, so we're not going to be able to get anything particularly fun at the moment, but this is interesting. So, okay. I do want to say, though, just again for the record, this might have been a long competition. I get it. But this is exactly what I said. Imagine if last night the episode ended with Leah winning HOH. That would have been such a good episode. Now, there's still a possibility that the episode is going to work out on Sunday. It's going to be a fun episode. It might happen. But it's the better way to do it. Okay, so let's talk about the the possibilities here. Assuming Leah follows through with her plan, she nominates Chelsea and T-Core. The original plan was to target Chelsea, and T-Core on the block next to her was the way to guarantee that Chelsea leaves. Assuming that's still her plan, which it might not be. Taking out Chelsea is not a bad move. I think the third month. Because the problem with taking out MJ or Cam, who are theoretically bigger threats in competitions, is that T-Core is still looking to protect Chelsea too much. T-Core will always choose Chelsea over Angela and Leah. And so there's nothing good there. So if she takes out Chelsea, there's a world where, like, where does MJ go? Does she go to the trio? Does she stick with Cam? Or does she go with Leah and Angela? That kind of makes a lot of sense for MJ. I mean, it's made sense for MJ. It's just that Chelsea's always been there in the way. Where does Cam go? Does he go to the trio? He doesn't love all of the trio. He kind of likes T-Core, but it just frees them up. And if you're T-Core, Chemo, and Rubina, and you're looking at, should I target Angela and Leah or Cam and MJ, that it's a choice. It's an actual choice to be made. So Chelsea leaving is a pretty good outcome for Leah. T-Core leaving, not as good. Because if T-Core leaves, Chemo and Rubina, I think, will go to MJ and Cam. That's where I think that's where they probably go. Granted, again, this is all down to how you play it. MJ, Cam, and Chelsea, I should say, yes, because Chelsea's still in the game. Like, they are less self-interested players in general. They have a good relationship with Chelsea. They are used to just like group dynamics. It's easier to see them going in that direction. Not to mention the fact that Chelsea probably a better competitor. I'm not saying T-Core is a bad competitor, but Chelsea has won more so far. And is part of a trio that wins more in general. So not quite as good, I think, to take out T-Core. Now, you do have to very much worry about the veto. Because if T-Core and Chelsea are on the block, pretty much every single person in the game, besides you and Angela, will use the veto. Which kind of sucks. So, for instance, if Cam or MJ win the veto, or even Chelsea, they use it, Chelsea comes off the block, now what do you do? Chelsea staying is just rough all around. T-Core leaving, not the worst. But how do you make sure T-Core leaves? Well, I guess if Cam uses the veto on Chelsea, you put up MJ and hope that Cam and Chelsea vote MJ to stay? Because that's a little risky. It's not ideal. Because then if the vote flips and they vote out MJ and Tikor stays, you're screwed. If MJ wins, you can put Cam on the block. I think MJ and Chelsea definitely vote to keep Cam. Maybe not definitely, but more probably. And then you can get Tikor out. That's still not the ideal scenario. Chelsea wins the veto herself. Again, you can just put Cam up. On the other side of things, if Tikor wins or Chemo or Rubino wins, you can just replace them with another person from the trio and still get Chelsea out. That's not really a problem. I don't think that Tikor will vote Rubino or Chemo out over Chelsea. I don't think that would happen. So you have to think, is it worth keeping Chelsea off the block initially? To make it less likely that she will be taken off the block. I mean, we can just run numbers, right? Chelsea and Tikor on the block. 8 players in the game. 6 veto players. Chelsea, Tikor. Chances of Angela being drawn, not super high. Worst case scenario, both MJ and Cam are playing. 3 out of 6 are using the veto on Chelsea. That's not good. They're the 3 best competitors in the house as well, or at least 3 of the best competitors in the house. If you put, say, Cam on the block against Tikor, let's also assume that all 3 are playing. Cam wins. He takes himself off the block. Chelsea goes up. That works. MJ wins. You can maybe try to get MJ to use it on Cam, but she might not. So you still have to consider that maybe a bad outcome. Chelsea wins. She uses it on Cam. Worst case scenario. So it's slightly better. It's slightly better there. The other side of things, Chelsea on the block, only one person gets drawn. There's a chance it's only MJ. Chelsea or MJ wins, it's still bad. You put Cam on the block. Cam plays, they both play, they both have a chance to win. Either of them win, it's a bad scenario. If Chelsea's off the block, there's a chance Chelsea doesn't win or doesn't get picked to play. Yeah, I think you keep her off the block. Because I do think that Chelsea leaving is enough of a better move for her to be worth wanting to take a more accurate shot. You also have to consider though, like the social ramifications. Chelsea and Tikor on the block together. What do you think you're gifting? Does that do damage to their relationship? Does that do more to get the two sides working against each other? I don't think so. If you put Cam on the block, intending for Cam to stay, that does give him more incentive to come after you later. Whereas if you just put Chelsea up and you keep her on the block, you can say to Cam that it was a targeted strike and that you still want to work with him. So there's that to consider as well. I mean, you have to talk to Cam, get a sense of where he stands, because we're talking about like percentages, and you have to consider, is it worth, you know, an extra 16% that your target goes home to potentially damage a relationship that you might have otherwise been able to foster a bit better. Then you can consider the idea of, okay, well, maybe I still just put Cam on the block, but I tried to use it as a way to make the relationship even better. Cam, you're going on the block. Sorry, but I have a bigger plan. You're not the target. I promise I'll use the veto on you if I win it. That sort of thing. It tends to work. It works more often than you would think. And then you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. It's like, get the bad part out of the way initially, and then like do something bad to somebody, and then quickly turn around and be their friend. It's manipulative stuff, but it's Big Brother. But like, cause a problem and then help be the solution to that problem. Put him on the block and then be the person who is most committed to removing him from that block. Because the thing too is that like, he is now in a situation where Leah and Angela are the two people who want to take him off the block the most. And can he rely on MJ to take him off the block? I don't know. Can he? Are they going to have that conversation? Now, all of a sudden, MJ's like, I don't know if I can take you off the block because Chelsea might go on the block. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, you and Angela are like, we want you off the block. Yeah, I think that's the play. I think you throw Cam up and you just play it that way. And then you hope you can get Chelsea on as the renom. And then you spend the week talking to Tikor, Chemo, Rubina about how Chelsea's the target. She blindsided you in the last vote. Survivor, thank you for gifting. And you really like them and you want to work with them. And maybe even, hey, Quinn told me to work with you guys. But I know that I won't be able to get Chelsea out unless one of you is on the block. Tikor's going to be pissed. She is going to be pissed. There's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, it's still I mean, listen, it's a rough position to be in the first place, but like, because the problem is Tikor's pissed next week. But so here's the thing. Next week, T-Core's pissed. Okay. But you put her on the block. But like Chemo, Rubina, T-Core win HOH. You have a lot of room to play. You really do. You're really going to target me when Cam and MJ are sitting right there? Those lovebirds? And vice versa. If Cam or MJ win, you're really going to target me when you still have that trio in this house? I just think it gives them the most amount of outs. I think that's the play. I think Cam and T-Core, Chelsea is the renom for Cam. You intend to do Chelsea as the renom for Cam. The problem with putting Chelsea up right away is that you might not see Chelsea. And actually, honestly, you don't actually need T-Core on the block at all. Thinking about this. Okay, I think with the 38th. Yeah, I actually don't think you need T-Core on the block. I don't think T-Core evicts Rubino or Chemo. I mean, it's... I guess it maybe leaves a little too much room to play there. Gary, thank you for gifting. I mean, you probably just put T-Core on the block just to be sure. And from Leah's perspective, I think she doesn't have the knowledge we do, which is that like T-Core is so down for the trio. I fully believe T-Core evicts Chelsea over Rubina or Chemo. I do. But Leah doesn't know that. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you just put T-Core on the block. You might as well, because it's just like, yeah, she's going to be mad, but she's going to be mad at you if you put any of her allies on the block. And you know for sure that Rubina and Chemo vote to keep her. So I get it. I think the ideal play is to not have to, but I think that given what you know about their trio and how Chemo and Rubina are so loyal to T-Core, you just have a guaranteed shot that they vote to keep T-Core. Hold on. I did my math wrong. If Cam is on the block, I was only this is my problem. I was only thinking about Cam, MJ, or Chelsea winning. I'm still just set on the physical players. The bigger issue with Cam on the block is that if T-Core Chemo or Rubina win and they use it on T-Core, now Cam is still stuck on the block. You can't put Cam on. It has to be Chelsea and T-Core. That sucks, though. That makes it so likely the veto gets used on Chelsea. It's rough. It's a rough spot. The thing is, getting Cam out just doesn't... Getting Cam out sucks for Leah. Because with Cam gone, Chelsea and MJ just dive all in with the trio. And you're just screwed. So you have to get out T-Core at that point and hope that Chemo and Rubina don't go in with the other trio. Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I feel like we talk about these kinds of scenarios so often, but we never actually have to think them all the way through. Because they never happen. And we're saying all this and like just watch her like do like MJ and Cam or something. Yeah, it's got to be T-Core Chemo, or sorry, T-Core Chelsea. Um, you have to hope the veto is won by anyone other than, man, you have to hope that all three of the trio doesn't win the veto, though. Sucks. I mean, you could get really lucky with the veto draw. Yeah, yeah, you just have to hope. I was thinking maybe you can put two from the trio, but the problem with that is that you could get really unlucky with the veto draw, and it's still all the same issue. Is it though? I don't know. Okay, let's just quickly run through that scenario. Let's say you put up T-Core Chemo. Now, every house guest choice is going to go to somebody that's not in the Chelsea trio. So you're a little more likely to have a good veto draw. Every member of the trio uses it on one of the trio. Every one of you or Angela uses it on one of the trio. You then can put Chelsea up free and clear. The danger is, the downside is that it's worse if one of Chelsea, Cam, MJ wins the veto and doesn't use it. They'd think even the third month. Because then then you're stuck with what we talked about initially, which is just 2 people from the trio up. And you're probably not getting T-Core out. Or maybe you are, actually. There's options there. There's options there because you can just default to, hey, I was working with Chelsea, MJ this whole time. I was taking a shot at the trio. It's not going to do much for you. They're going to come right after you. But, like, you can still maybe get T-Core out. But why would you? If you got I don't think they're going to take T-Core out. I think they're going to take Chemo out. So the play, by putting 2 of the trio members up, you are more likely to be able to get Chelsea, but less likely to be able to back up target, get T-Core. Chelsea was talking about getting rid of T-Core, but only because T-Core is the glue with the trio. Like, Mayrose, thank you for the 35th. I'm actually gonna have to leave somewhat soon. We're gonna be recording Rings of Power. Actually, we might be going live for Rings of Power. Yeah, I think you just have to do Chelsea T-Core. You guarantee that one of them leaves. I think that's just the best method. You can all but guarantee that one of them leaves as long as you put both of them up initially. Chelsea leaving would be much better, but T-Core leaving is fine. If they were really good players, you could even do something a little tricky and say T-Core Chelsea up on the block. In the event that Chelsea comes off the block, you replace Chelsea with Cam or MJ, whoever, probably Cam. You could stage a fight with Angela. Say that Angela voting against T-Core was against your wishes. Be pissed at Angela for voting out T-Core. Nestle yourself right in with Chemo and Rubina. While Angela goes off with Chelsea's side. And now you're not like in a spot where both sides are coming for you. You're like embedded in the two sides. That actually could work pretty well if they, were capable of it. I'm constantly shocked that players don't do stuff like that. I mean, it's so effective. With Angela, here's the thing. With Angela, it's very believable, but also could definitely become real. But like, you might as well try. You might as well try at that point. All right. So we just talked a lot of like strategy for what we think the ideal move is. Now, after they finish sleeping, we'll find out what they're actually going to do. And this season, the difference between those two things has been pretty big. So we will find out. I've got to run to go record Rings of Power. It's going to be live, I think. So if you want to watch it, let me see if it's RHAP scripted. If you've watched any Rings of Power, we're going to be talking about episode 5. Here's the link for it. I'm going to be talking with Josh about it. It was a very fun episode. You can come and watch. We'll have some fun over there. After I finish that, we might come back on Twitch. I think we've mostly talked through the options at this point. So maybe not. But the Q&A is going to be in 2 hours. So I'll be over there. There's plenty of places to find me throughout the day. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. This was fun. Big power shifts. Check out the Rings of Power podcast, and I'll see all of you in just a bit.